Okay, hello everyone to the stream. Today we're going to be pulling for Qingyi. Yes, we're doing that, and then we're going to be playing some Genshin, doing some of that, and maybe I might watch the Ashikai video live. It's gonna be fun. It goes for I don't know if you can see it. This is the Ashikai. I can't see it. It goes for 40 minutes, so that'll also be part of the Genshin section, to be honest, but. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna get freaking mind fucked, bro. Like Jesus. But yeah, 1.21 1.1 is out. I thought it was 1.2. So 1.1 is out. We already got the 1.2 drip marketing for ZZ. I'll be doing the story for 1.1 tomorrow. So, because today I wasn't really planning on wanting to do it today. I really just don't want to. Huh? Wait! Oh. Hold up! On their YouTube post, it said it starts at 6! Oh my god. On their YouTube post, they literally said it started at 6, so... Alright, so we're gonna be playing Genshin then, we'll play Genshin. We will play Genshin then. We still got an hour. So... Oh, I didn't play Genshin last night, so actually I need to play it. Oh, Did I play it? No, I did play it. No, I did play it. So yeah, we're going to Genshin. Oh, look at this. It's beautiful, bro. Look at this. It's beautiful. 2 days time, man. 2 days time. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I think what we'll do is we play Genshin, pull for Qingyi, and then watch Ashikai video. If it all goes well. Or maybe I'll just watch Ashikai off stream, but we'll see. We'll see. But I'll probably watch it on stream after I pull for Qingyi. But I don't know what I'm gonna be doing right now. I mean, we've got the new event. I guess we could do some multiplayer of the event. Of the binge ball event. Kick some ass. Yeah. Realize I need to go into fucking Genshin, bro. I could watch. Do I watch that Ashikai video now? Oh my god. Do I? Let's do this. This is the new event. Energy Amplifier Lemon. So it's only 2 out. Alright, let's see what this event is. It's gotta be a combat event, isn't it? It's gotta be combat, which is like kill me now, but you know what, after we do this, because this won't take long. We'll watch Ashikai video actually. The Ashikai video only goes for 40 minutes, so Yeah. I haven't seen. So what? So. We go full fucking bloom. So we go. Nahida can go if you go to third round. 100%. Nahida and Frida could go together. I think that's very nice. I think that is very, very nice. I'm freaking Arlecchino here. Look at that! Look at that. Got 3 DPSs, bro. Oh, we've seen Barbara will have to go into this team. Like that, maybe. I don't know. This was. Fuck, I'll use Farina for every single team. I do not care. I do not care. I'm using Farina in every team. Like, do I care? Nope, not really. We don't need a healer. Go Colle as well. At this one we could go. Yeah. What the hell? Attack. This one is the elemental mastery. Oh, this is so much planning, bro. Oh my god. Okay, so that one will be for this team. There we go. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. I didn't expect planning. I've never used this team in my life, so bear with me.
Russian floral! Neutralize! Roll it amber! Help!
Maybe.
Time to shine!
I just realized I'm gonna be at half HP the entire time.
Inazuma shines eternal! A
It's gonna be
little
fun.
ambiance! Reconstitute! Just like we rehearsed! Let the world collide!
Oh my god. Brita! He heals! Heal, Colle! Heal! Heal!
Russian floral! Extract! Now you shall perish! There is no escape! Life is on the side! Shower me with praise! Time to shine! This will brighten up the place! Inazuma shines eternal! There is no escape!
Okay. Huh. Alright, let's do this. Oh,
Yoo-hoo! Let the world collide! Shine down! Let the magic begin!
brother!
Witness my
laid bare.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord, bro!
Let my name echo in song! Fear me!
Everlasting as the moon.
Ah! Use the E.
Illusion shattered.
Let the world
That impressive.
collide! Showering you with let the magic begin! Step on up!
This is where you fall.
Bow! Bow!
Everlasting as the moon.
God, the music. The music. Alright, let's see this dude go.
Strike a pose!
Spring forth.
Let my name echo in song!
Is this the blue team?
Hey! The Temple of Wisdom!
You
are not welcome
here.
I see everything! Shower me with praise! Make yourselves at home! Hey! Look at her! Just wait for a little. Let the world collide!
this.
Spring forth.
The Temple of Wisdom! Everyone will be...
Oh,
Yoo-hoo!
oh, I'm really excited to do that.
Shower me with praise! Time to shine! Sharing my knowledge!
The only good thing about this event is this is the
I see
music, bro.
everything!
The only good thing about this event. Oh. It's fine. Alright, you know what I want to do? You know what I want to do? Watch Ashikai video, because this event's boring as fuck, and Ashikai video is going to be interesting. We get a lot about Simulacra. And stuff. Nice. Alright, this is okay. Let's go to it. Okay, let me go to it. Did it come back that long ago? Only an hour ago? So... Alright, what Simulacra tells us about Natlan? Might as well watch this to pass the time.
So here's a question for you.
Oh god. I don't want to be asked a question by Ashikai. I'm sorry, but I was gonna die. Alright, here we go. Here we go. What happened? What Simulacra tells us about Natlan, a Genshin Impact theory. Alright. Alright. Alright, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Got 50 minutes, so... Let's
So
go.
here's a question for you. What does a storybook world full of origami animals and Lego dudes made by a trio of witches have to do with Natlan? Because there's definitely something. See, every summer, the witches give us some sort of special event that foreshadows the events of the next region. And while most of the foreshadowing is easier to see in hindsight, you can usually pick up on a few things ahead of time. And honestly, I've never really had a problem with this in the past, but I've got to admit, Simulanka had me a bit stumped. I mean, sure, we can point to the obvious connection between us making friends with a dragon and the Natlanians that have Saurian companions, but that feels
that's
a bit
quite
too simple, too basic, it's too easy.
It's too
Especially
it's too
when the
obvious.
Saurian stuff makes up the bulk of what we know about Natlan.
The terrain also looked a bit like Natland, with some bits of like square blocks and stuff. That's another thing that looks a bit like
and after
Natland, but that's
thinking
not
about it for a
story.
while, there's definitely a
like
lot more here than just the dragon thing, but it's just not nearly as obvious as I think previous years have been. See, if you combine all of the themes of Simulanka, like the looping stories, the power of names, choosing your own destiny, and making dragon friends, with a very important aspect of ancient American culture, looking into the future of Natlan suddenly becomes a lot easier. Now, you might be wondering what aspect of ancient American culture I'm actually referring to, and you might know it as the Mesoamerican or Mayan ball game. And as a bonus, I think it also sheds some light on the Fatui Harbingers, especially Capitano. So in this video, we're going to be talking about names, fates, dragons, harbingers, and ball games.
Ever since I did that event, I've been waiting for this video. Ever since I did this event, bro.
In this video, we're going to be talking about names, fates, dragons, harbingers, and ball games, all as a means of deciphering the mystery that is Natlan. I hope you guys are ready for a really wild ride, because this is going to be a lot of fun. And don't forget, we've got timestamps, spoiler warning, citations, attributions, and links to related content in the description box if you want them. And you can also find post-video notes and corrections in the pinned comment.
I'm putting for 100%.
Why don't we step up to the plate, because the games are about to begin. And by games, I mean theory. The theory is about to begin. I just wanted to be clear on that. Simulanka's theme of names matters to the plot of Natlan. And you might be wondering why I can say that with such confidence. Well, look no further than the Pyro Gemstone. Now, the Pyro Gemstone's description says, a pilgrimage for a wish, a battle to earn a name, burnt to cinders for a dream. And that totally lines up with the Natlan Ignition teaser's title, which is a name forged in flame. So just based on that, it seems like we're going to be obtaining an important name from the events in Natlan. I think that part's pretty straightforward.
Winner.
And I don't really have to make a case for it.
Just straight up
if we want context about this name and why it matters, we need to look at Simulanka. Because this isn't as straightforward as you might think it is, because what a name does in both Simulanka and in Genshin in general is pretty inconsistent. Let me show you what I mean. So there were 3 main instances in Simulanka when names were brought into focus. The first was in the forest when Nilou granted her origami creation life by giving it a name. The next was when Wanderer witnessed Barbeleth warning Anders' daughter that if she named the little dragon after Durin, the little dragon would share Durin's fate. And the final instance was in the post-quest where Kaveh caused problems by accidentally encouraging people to circle the names of characters in a book that he borrowed. What I found most interesting about this...
I did do this. I was like, I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this.
Encouraging people to circle the names of characters in a book that he borrowed. What I found most interesting about this particular instance is that the names that the author of that book chose ended up being absolute nonsense, and none of the names in the book had been circled for any meaningful reason. Ergo, the names actually didn't matter. So Simulanka's telling us that a name can grant life, bind you to a specific fate, or just not matter at all. Well, that's pretty strange. Why is it so inconsistent? I think we need to look at some more examples of names doing something special elsewhere in the game in order to figure out what's actually going on here, because it's not like Genshin to be this inconsistent. So let's start with Xiao, Child, and Wanderer. So Xiao's real, original, or true name was used by his old master as a means of control over him. In order to prevent this from ever happening again, Zhongli granted Xiao a new name for his own protection. So the name is doing something different from the other 3 cases that we just discussed. That's not helpful. But what about Child? Well, Child was named after the ancient hero Ajax, and the older he gets, the more similar his accomplishments and life path seems to become to that of the hero that he shares a name with. This is actually pretty in line with what we see with both Durin dragons. Okay, so we've got 2 instances of names sort of binding people to a specific fate, and one where it's used as a means of control. So maybe we could argue that names are a means by which one can be controlled, often through a system of fate. In fact, if you check the description of the Ignition teaser, it also says a fate forged in flames, while the title says a name forged in flames. So that seems pretty straightforward.
Uh,
Forward, pretty cut
Yeah.
and dry, right? Not exactly. There's some nuance here that I think is quite easy to miss, and the key to understanding this nuance is Wanderer. Now, for those of you who don't know, Wanderer never actually
Wanderer
had
has
a
many
name.
names.
A didn't name him after he was created, and he never selected a name for himself. At least, not until the Traveler named him, but we're gonna get to that. But in place of having a name,
oh yeah, we did name him. I just named him Wanderer, but yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we did name him. Yeah, shit.
Wanderer actually has roles. See, when the people of Tatarasuna first found him, they called him Kabukimono, which isn't a name at all, it just means weird person or a person who acts in kabuki theater. It's a role or a descriptor, but not a name. And after he deleted himself from Irminsul, he became the Wanderer. Again, not a name, but a role. Do you see the pattern forming? Because it's about to get more interesting. Because when he was recruited by the Fatui, he became Scaramouche, which isn't a name either. It's a trope. Scaramouche is just a nameless stock character from the Commedia dell'arte. And you probably know this by now because the game's been out for a while, and this is pretty common
I
knowledge.
didn't know
But
that.
the Commedia dell'arte is a type of theater wherein the character is boiled down to just their tropes. They're all kind of generic in a way. But here's the thing I found most interesting about this. During his time as a Harbinger, Wanderer was basically an actor taking on the role of Scaramouche. He was playing a character. Now, in any other theatrical performance, those characters would have their own names instead of
Kind
being
of like how Farina was playing the character of Focalor. I don't know. Kind of sounds.
Now, in any other theatrical performance, those characters would have their own names instead of being identified as their tropes, and that's when everything kind of clicked into place for me. Because at that time, I remembered this monologue that was written by William Shakespeare that kind of sums up the entire idea. He said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." Now, Kaya quotes this in his Hangout, and it's also the title of Farina's character demo, so I think it's pretty relevant overall to the plot.
Oh my god, yeah, Frida's demo is all the world's a stage. Shit. Yeah, fuck.
Hangout, and it's also the title of
Kai's hanging out. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Farina's character demo, so I think it's pretty relevant overall to the plot. So what I've taken this to mean is that when you
Well, I mean, all the world's stage 2 Farina because she was, like, playing a part, you know? She was, like, pretending to be someone.
I think it's pretty relevant overall to the plot.
Yeah, it makes
So what I've taken this to mean is that when you grant someone a name, you are actually defining that person's role within the story of the world that you're putting them in. So in order for something to exist within Similanga's storybook world, for example, they must have a role to play in the story. So when Milu names Parisara, she's given her a role which allows her to exist within the book, hence granting life. And speaking of fate and control within the context of names, you know how demon gods, especially archons, are named after demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon? Well, all those demons were under Solomon's control, and you might not have noticed, but the archons only ever go by their demon god name when they are acting the part of a nation's god. The rest of the time, they use a name that they chose for themselves. And I've been wondering if the archons don't like going by their demon names because it's not their real name, it's a name that was given to them by Celestia, who would be acting as Solomon in this case. And they gave them that name in order to define the role that they would play within the world. So they only use that name when they are acting out the role of a god. And this might actually be what differentiates beings like Adepti and Yokai from gods. If we follow this logic, when the Traveler was asked to name Wanderer, they were actually acting as Solomon, granting him a new role, and that's why his name can't overlap with the names of other characters. He's not supposed to play their role. Now, the gods of Similanka are Barbeleth, Alice, and Anders' daughter, and it's Anders' daughter who governs the fate of the world and also is the one who is responsible for granting names. As the author of the world's story, she is responsible for assigning each character their role. So when she gave the little dragon the name Durin, it was because she wanted that little dragon to play the same role that Big Durin did. But just because the role of two characters in two different stories are the same, doesn't mean that they have the same fate or ending. That quest with the frogs and the squirrels taught us that even though we might loop through the same stories, like they follow cyclical patterns, how the story ends is up to us. And speaking of names, tropes, and roles, let's take another look at the Fatui Harbingers because their setup makes a bit more sense when you think of their names as roles that they have to play. as opposed to serving as personal identification, I guess. Piero is described as the director of the Harbingers, so he would be the Solomon here, right? He'd be picking up actors and giving them an appropriate role. And once they accept that role, they are to play that role according to his directions, because he is the director. But in the end, it doesn't really matter who the actors are or even what happens to them in the end. It just matters that the roles within his production are filled. And we can...
So it's bad that number, was it 6 and number 8 are empty then? Because Scaramouche and Signora have still not been filled.
See this idea of names as roles coming into play again
That we
during the
know of.
quest with Kaveh, because in that quest, the names themselves don't even matter to the author. They could be any name and it wouldn't change anything. Does it matter if a suspect was called Al-Amal? Or does it just matter that they're called a suspect? And let's not forget that the reason that all of those names in the book got circled was because Kaveh was getting hung up on how the name was spelled wrong, and he accidentally ended up circling the character with the most important role, the murderer. The typo didn't matter, the name didn't matter, the role of the character mattered. Now with that in mind, notice that the one character whose name in the book that we do know is Al-Amal. And I only mention this because...
Because, yeah, I've heard that name before, right? Yeah, oh yeah. It has been said.
Okay, obligatory Deshret mention, but also because Dia says that the detective of the book suspected Al-Amal of leaping across a broken bridge like a frog. Now, Candace might have told us not to overthink this, but overthinking is what we do here, and I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that one of our main quests in Simulanka deals entirely with a kingdom of leaping frogs. And yes, this is how we circle back to Natlan, because all of this matters, even the frogs. Especially the frogs, actually, because they have a lot to do with the role that Deshret plays within Sumeru, and it's that role that carries over to Natlan. Alright, so the specifics of the frog quest aren't important for right now. What matters is that we have frogs that leap, and that this nation of jumpy froggies has a legend that states that the winner of the Jumpy Froggy contest will save a mysterious princess someday. Meanwhile, on the other side of the forest, we have a kingdom of flying squirrels who are seeking a guardian to pass some trials to prove themselves worthy of claiming a sacred relic. Now, you might notice this repeating theme of using a trial or competition as a sort of ritual reenactment of past events in order to become a champion or a guardian so that they can accomplish their calling. And if they can accomplish that calling, then they will have a future. And if they can't, then the story ends and bad things happen. And as you continue their respective quests, you'll learn that these rituals were designed to be impossible to complete because there is no princess to save and the holy relic never acknowledges the guardian. When past guardians and champions learned of this, the meaning of their conquered trial or challenge was lost, and they faded away into obscurity and the kingdoms fell and it was a disaster. So basically the story would reset itself with new characters and new roles repeating over and over and over on a loop. Later in the Cave of Eerie Murmurs, we're told that stories follow rules, unfolding in cyclical patterns. Each follows its own course. And it's that last line that's important there because our squirrel and frog companions take that to heart because they realize that even though they have to experience the same cyclicality of their kingdom stories, how those stories end is ultimately up to them. In other words, they both must find their own meaning and then they will be able to witness their own futures. Now, you probably have no idea why this matters for Natlan, and that's okay. I'm going to explain it, but first, let me ask you a question. Did you ever stop to wonder why frogs and flying squirrels were the chosen animals for this quest? No? Well,
No.
I did, and I think that those animals were chosen because they're both connected to ancient American ball games. Now, you're probably at least a little familiar with this ball game. The court it gets played on is pretty easy to recognize, like it's an eye-shaped court with 2 stone rings at the top of steep side walls. If you've watched any sort of Mesoamerican movie or reenactment or whatever, you're probably gonna have seen something like it. Now, I think this ball game is most commonly known in the vernacular as the Mayan ball game, but the reality is this ball game was played all across the Americas, North, Central, and South. And yeah, there are a lot of variations to it, like in some versions you can only use your hips and thighs to move the balls around, and the scoring systems differed a lot. But the role this game plays didn't really differ that much. And shockingly, that role was very important. In the ancient Americas, ball games were often used as a means of settling disputes or promoting cross-cultural exchanges via peaceful competition. And oftentimes, they were also used as a proxy for war. So instead of 2 tribes, nations, or cities going to war with each other, players or champions from both sides were sent to the ball courts, and the winner of the ball game would win the supposed war. So border resource...
Wait, what does that say? I'm oversimplifying, but
and governance disputes could all be settled without bloodshed. What's really neat about this is that the more politically diverse a region was, the more ball courts you would find. Regions with more consolidated power structures had the least amount of ball courts because their, governance wasn't really challenged that much. And if we look at Natlin, it's split into 6 different tribes or factions. This suits the intertribal ball game culture perfectly. And it also explains why, despite being the nation of war, Natlin doesn't feel very warlike. They're likely using sports as a proxy for war, especially ball games. In the Ignition teaser, Kachina launches what appears to be a rubber ball, and whoever happens to catch it is going to be a player in the upcoming tournament, which should be a ball game in my opinion, and the Pyro Archon apparently holds this once a year. And why would she do that? Because the ball game is a ritual, very similar to the trials and competitions of Simulanka's squirrels and frogs. Now, you remember how I said that the ball games were played all over the Americas, often as cross-cultural events? Well, when you have multiple cultures coming together, you're going to have people who have different myths, legends, gods, and beliefs. So a shared ritual has to be a little agnostic, or at least generic enough in its purpose so that it can fit any culture's context, which was indeed the case with the ball games. On its most basic and generic level, the ball game was a ritual wherein players took on the roles of deities that helped the sun, represented by the ball, complete its journey across the sky. When the ball hit the ground, it meant that the sun had descended into the underworld for the night. Now, the ball court itself was supposed to represent the cosmic plane, the boundary of Earth between the sky and the underworld, and thus the ball court was considered one of the few locations where the real world and the supernatural worlds came together. Now, in many cultures of the region, especially in Veracruz, water was heavily came together. Now, in many cultures of the region, especially in Veracruz, water was heavily associated with the underworld. So when the sun descends, it's metaphorically being doused in the water of the underworld. Now, frogs are creatures that exist on the boundary line. They inhabit both land and water, so their strong association with the ball game comes from this ability that they had to cross the boundary between the lands of life and the waters of death. In fact, one of the most important deities that governs storms, water, and rain, Chahak, or Tlaloc, is often thought to be a frog god. So you remember how in Kave's book, Al-Amal leapt like a frog over a bridge? Well, a bridge is basically a means to cross a boundary of water, well, most of the time. And water in this case is referring to the underworld, at least allegorically, right? And frogs are found on this boundary line. Now, Al-Amal is obviously a loose reference to Al-Amar, who is Deshret, who is also a reference to both Amun-Ra, a sun god, and Osiris, the god of the underworld. In other words, he's a frog. A sun frog, which means that his role is similar to that of Farabear, the frog from Simulanka. See, Farabear's name seems to have its roots in the words pharaoh and bear, which means bright light, like a sun. And incidentally, pharaoh is etymologically related to the word pharaoh, like the Egyptian king, which is also what Deshret was. Now, Farabear can also be a variant of the name Robert, which ironically also still means bright, as in light, but with a dash of fame thrown in. And I've also seen the name include falcon as a meaning, so like bright falcon, which is still hilarious to me as Amun-Ra has associations with falcons. And even if you go the French route and read Farabear as fake Robert, all it would mean is false brightness, or maybe just a fake sun, or a blackened sun. And Deshret was a blackened sun.
Got every way you put it.
I also acknowledge that this name could also be a reference to the novelist Gustave Flaubert or Frederick Froebel, but I'm ignoring this because Deshret frog allegations are cooler and more fun and more thematically on point. Now, don't misunderstand me though. I'm not actually trying to make this about Deshret. It's his role that is important, not him. And that role is as a son.
Poor Deshret, bro.
It's his role that is important, not him. And that role is as a sun or a frog that crosses the boundaries between life and death, potentially sharing a name with a false or bright sun king depending on your reading. Seems straightforward enough, right? So what about the squirrels? How do they fit in? I admit I actually didn't understand the squirrels at first. The only ancient American legend I could remember or find was a Cherokee myth about a ball game between birds and land animals wherein 2 rodent animals wanted to join the birds team but couldn't fly. So the birds took the skin of a drum and stretched it over the rodents until they became the flying squirrel and the bat. And those 2 rodents helped the birds win the game. That is the only ball game association with squirrels that I could find. And obviously if I'm telling you the myth, then it must be relevant somehow, but I didn't understand understand the relevance until I also found this legend told by the Huichol people of Mexico, which also has to do with a sun and a squirrel. This legend says that in the beginning, only the moon hung in the sky, but the people wanted more light, so they convinced the moon to give the people her only son, a limping one-eyed child, and the people sacrificed him in an oven. Soon after being sacrificed, he revived himself, fled beneath the earth to the underworld, and 5 days later emerged as the sun. Now, because only the moon lit the sky for so long, most animals were nocturnal and did not like this whole new daytime thing. So they tried to shoot the sun out of the sky, but the gray squirrel and the woodpecker defended the sun, allowing it to complete its first journey across the sky and create the cycle of night and day. For this reason, the Huichol people consider squirrels to be a sort of representation of a hero god. And weirdly, the squirrel's association with the sun is found all over the Americas in less grandiose ways that I never really knew about until now. Because by virtue of being incredible tree climbers, squirrels were often seen as one of the few creatures besides birds who were closest to the sun because of their ability to ascend to the sky so quickly. Now again, I'm mentioning these two myths because if you put them together, they actually line up eerily well with the story of the Mayan hero twins, Xbalanque and Hunahpu. And these twins were not only associated with the sun and the moon, but also the Mayan ball game. In fact, one of them is a named character from Natlan. Nouvelette's character introduction came from a character that we've never seen before. His name is Xbalanque, the one entombed in primal fire. And there are a few interesting things that we can glean from this association. First off, this guy is introducing a dragon sovereign, indicating he's probably pretty important, with many speculating that he's either the real Pyro Archon, assuming Mavuika is a fraud, or a dragon himself. I don't think he's either of these things, for reasons that we'll get into, but I do think he's very important. The second thing to note is that he's entombed in the primal fire, which weirdly connects him back to Deshret. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. You can't blame me for this. You have to blame Genshin's writers, okay? So in Deshret's temple complex, you're often going to run into these little cubic Seelie-like things called primal embers, which are used to light Deshret's primal torches. These produce unique flames that do not inflict burning and never go out so long as the primal embers remain inside of them. And there is just no way that primal embers and primal fire aren't at least a little bit related, right? Especially when you consider that these primal embers are teal, much like the color of Anemo, which can also be found mixed into the lava and fires of Natlan, especially those of the Pyro Archon. Now, in previous videos, I have made two claims. The first is that Anemo is the element most associated with death, and the second is that Pyro is the element of resurrection and purification. My logic is that Anemo seems to be the element of spirits, and the Thousand Winds seems to carry the souls of the dead to a place where they can prepare to be reborn. This connects to Venti's first story quest, which is about an adventurer who was trapped in the Mare Javari, or the Sea of Ashes, which is also found in Natlan. This adventurer died, but his soul was never able to rest, presumably because the Mare Javari is a windless land, suggesting it's a place where the souls get stuck because there's no wind to guide them back home. I talk more about the wind as death motifs in this video if you want more context from me, and if you want a different take entirely, you can check out this video from Laughing Man. Pyro, on the other hand, has countless associations with resurrection and rebirth, which I go over in this video about Arlecchino, which you can watch for more context as well. But the simplest example here is that Arlecchino's Bloodfire extract can wipe people's memories, killing their old selves and allowing them a pseudo-rebirth. This is reflected in her constellation name, which is Ignis Purgatorius, aka the Fires of Purgatory, wherein purgatory is the process by which the soul is cleansed or wiped in preparation for rebirth, or to move on to the afterlife. I guess it depends on the religion. Now, the animal-pyro mixture is easiest to notice with the Pyro Archon Mavuika as she shifts from phoenix form to human form. At least that's what I'm assuming is happening because of the weird cuts here. And if we assume that she is that phoenix, then we have to remember that a phoenix is a creature that dies by setting itself on fire,
resurrect,
only to be reborn from its own ashes. Death with Anemo, rebirth with Pyro. Now, I think these themes are mimicked by Deshret's primal embers, which are Anemo-flavored, which we then guide to a torch where it is reborn in a flame. If you think of the primal embers like a ghost or a spirit, kind of like the Seelies, then maybe putting the ember in the torch traps it there, hence entombed in primal.
What if you resurrect Deshret? What if you don't resurrect Uberlog or Senorita? What if you just resurrect Deshret? That'd be wild. Bro, that would be wild, bro. That would be fucking
then
wild.
maybe putting the ember in the torch traps it
That'd be
there,
insane.
hence entombed in primal fire. You know, maybe this is why a Seelie on a Seelie court looks like a candle. Okay, so this one entombed in primal fire, this character by the name of Xabalanque, he's actually named after one of the Mayan hero twins, also known as the Headband Twins, whose figures were often painted on the walls of the ball courts throughout the Americas. Their story goes something like this. The hero twins' father and uncle, who were also twins, disturbed the gods of death, and to settle this neighborly noise complaint, they agreed to play a game of ball. The death gods won the game and buried one of the twins beneath the ball court and hung the head of the other in a tree. Sometime later, one of the daughters of the gods of death, named Shikik, which means blood woman or blood moon, somehow bore him 2 sons, twins that she named Xabalanque and Hunahpu. Once these twins grew up, they were also challenged to a ball game by the gods of death, which they accepted. And for every round that they lost, they were subject to a punishment. One of them involved getting locked in a room full of bats, and that's how Hunahpu got decapitated by a bat. I will now vaguely gesture towards the bat from the Cherokee myth that we're definitely gonna come back to. So at this point, the twins knew that the death gods were cheating, so they decided to lose the next round on purpose. As punishment for their loss, they allowed themselves to be burned alive in an oven and have their ashes sprinkled in a magic river, which, unbeknownst to the death gods, revived the twins who only knew that this would happen because they asked some oracles about it ahead of time. You remember that Huichol myth about the child of the moon being sacrificed in an oven and reborn through the underworld, which is associated with water? What an odd coincidence. It sure would be strange if one of the hero twins ended up turning into the sun as well. Well, the revived twins then tricked the death gods and ended up killing some of them and cursed the rest. And oh, hey look, after they finished with that, they ascended into the sky where Hunahpu became the sun and Xabalanque became the moon. They revived their uncle, who then became the maize or corn god, endlessly going through a cycle of death and rebirth, and thereby tying the ball game to the cycle of the harvest. If you want a longer, more thorough version of the myth, TED actually has a great little animated version of it, which you should totally check out. I'll leave a link. This is a few too many coincidences for my taste, even though I am cherry-picking some myths. But even in spite of that, everything I've found seems to be pointing to the fact that we are going to play a ball game for the sun in Natlin. And you know what? Bonus points if it's against a god of death or hosted by a death god, which actually isn't too far off because Mavuika is likely based on Mahuika, who is a god of fire and also the little sister of the god of death. Funny how that works. Now, I think that Mavuika hosts this ball game tournament every year as a proxy for intertribal warfare, wherein each player assumes a different role in a story that the game is meant to reenact or represent. And perhaps that tale is the one of the sun's journey across the sky and the descent into the underworld, which means that the ultimate goal of this game would be to have the sun reignite or resurrect itself to bring forth a new dawn. And if I'm right about the Simulanka parallels, then every year she hosts this game, she gets the same outcome. The story plays out cyclically with the same ending every time, just like with the squirrels and frogs. But not this time. This time it's gonna be different. And do you know why? It has to do with the names of the Natlin characters that we've seen so far, because each one symbolizes a role from one of the myths that I've talked about today. In other words, this time the story has all of the key roles filled. So Chaska is named after an Incan star goddess, similar to Sitlali, whose name means star. I'm pretty sure that these two are supposed to represent the oracles that the hero twins consulted before they went through their cycle of death and rebirth. And then we have Shilanen, who's named after the Aztec maize or corn goddess. She's most likely a reference to the hero twins' uncle who was buried beneath the ball court and became the maize or corn god. Now Mualani is named after a Hawaiian sky goddess and therefore references the sky that the sun traverses. As for Ororon, I know a lot of people think he's supposed to be named after Olorun, a supreme deity from the Yoruba pantheon, which isn't really a bad assumption given that Iansen is also named after a Yoruban god of death and rebirth. But thematically, a supreme deity doesn't make any sense in this ballgame setup, even in spite of his hand markings looking a lot like the eyes on the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles cubes. So I'm actually more inclined to think that he's referencing something else, like maybe the Maori deity Orongo, another agricultural god. That would honestly fit better thematically with all of the motifs of the ballgame. Ororon also has bat-like characteristics which can have a few implications here. For example, he might not reference a deity at all, but instead reference a manga called The Demon Ororon, wherein Ororon is a devil that sucks blood, kinda like a vampire or a vampire bat. Now this manga reference might feel a little bit random here, but most of Natlin's cultural references seem to come from regions located around the Ring of Fire, and Japan just happens to be one of those regions, so it's not that huge of a stretch.
It's just Inazuma. Now it's just Inazuma again, man. Oh my god.
fire, and Japan just happens to be one of
Of course, Japan's.
those
Chicken just
regions, so
Inazuma.
it's not that huge of a stretch. Now, these bat-like characteristics
New
of his
Zealand.
also make me think that he's going to play the role of the bat from the Cherokee.
Wait, so what places of the? Wait, so Africa's not even a part of it? I know, but I thought this. Huh.
Japan just happens to be one of those regions, so it's not that huge of a stretch. Now, these bat-like characteristics of his also make me think that he's going to play the role of the bat from the Cherokee myth and the myth of the hero twins, meaning he will not only help the squirrel, but he will also kill or injure Hunapu equivalent. And I think he's also going to be on the side opposite the squirrel at first, since bats are nocturnal versus the diurnal squirrel. So I think he'll switch sides later on. And this is where I think things get interesting, because the squirrel should be Kachina, and I don't think it's a fluke that she's the one who kicks off the ball game in the teaser. So Kachina seems to be based on a pika, which is a type of ground-based animal similar to a rabbit, but it's often mistaken for a squirrel or a mouse. And her name, Kachina, comes from the Pueblo word for spirit, which is kind of generic. But remember how we talked about the primal embers being Seelie-like spirits we had to guide to the torches? And that myth about how the squirrel escorted the sun during its first journey across the sky? Well, I think that's Kachina's role, a spirit guide for the sun. Which leaves us with one character, Qingyi, whose name literally means sun. In fact, this guy is named after the Aztec god Qingyi Ahau, which means Sun King, but scholars like to call him God Ji, which makes his entire design a very nerdy pun. Now, his little dragon buddy is called Aja, which is not a reference to Ajax, it's another alternate spelling to the word Ahau, which means together, Qingyi and Ahau are son and a king. Now, Aja's full name is Kuhul Aja, which means divine lord, which is ironic because Qingyi Ahau is sometimes thought to be an aspect of a Mayan supreme deity who is actually more of a moon god, I think. And with that, we have all of the players of the ball game, a full cast of actors ready to step into their roles, but what about the story itself? Because surely I'm not.
What role would the Traveler play then? Because the Traveler would definitely have a role in this, right? Probably, maybe. We probably just sit on the sidelines and watch.
Into their roles, but what about the story itself? Because surely I'm not going to suggest that Mavwika is just trying to relight the sun and leave it at that, right? Well, of course not. I haven't even started talking about the dragons yet, and they're kind of the reason behind everything going on in Natlin. Now, you may recall that the story of the frogs and squirrels in Simulanka ended with the holy relic finally lighting up after both the squirrel princess and the frog champion
Nice Pentagon music, sorry, I need to go back. I was vibing to the Pentagon
behind
music.
everything going on in Natlin. Now, you may recall that the story of the frogs and squirrels in Simulanka ended with the holy relic finally lighting up after both the squirrel princess and the frog champion acknowledged each other and decided on what they wanted for their own futures. Thus, the story that once repeated itself in a never-ending loop finally came to a conclusion. And astronomically speaking, a star is just a sun. So if this is referencing Natlin the way I think it is, then we can infer that Mavwika intends to reignite the sun using the sparks of will or resolution from her champions determined by the ball game tournament, because the choices made will differ from previous attempts. However, while the story of the squirrel and the frog seems pretty self-contained, the holy relic, or the star, was originally damaged by a dragon, and that plot point was never really resolved in the story of the squirrel and the frogs, but it was resolved elsewhere. Now, we know that Natlin has a big focus on dragons. Saurians are just small dragon companions that have learned or at least gained the ability to live safely alongside humans, just like Simulanka's little Durin. But I think this wasn't always the case, and it may be that the Saurians are actually losing this trait, or they're regressing. So in Simulanka, Lego Durin was a huge black dragon that reverted everything he touched back into its raw materials, which in this case were blocks. But in the case of Teyvat Durin, it would have been like Abyss-goo. And it wasn't until he was confronted by and blessed by the hero and his companions that he was able to stabilize his corrosive powers and safely exist alongside everyone else. This caused him to shrink down to Saurian size and strike up a friendship with the hero, which in this case is Wanderer, a man with no name. Incidentally, this story actually parallels the one told in Unfinished Reverie, which is a tale from Natlin's past. And in Unfinished Reverie, the Saurians weren't friends with humans. They were repressed and subjugated, but a group of different representatives from all the different tribes, including a pair of hero twins, banded together to defeat a tyrant that wouldn't let people make friends with Saurians. And then everyone made friends with Saurians. Obviously, this is an extreme summary, and you'll probably just have to read the artifact set to understand the whole story. But the parallels are there. On a more practical, less historical level, I would like to posit the idea that Wanderer is actually supposed to reference Qingyi, mostly because of their roles and dispositions. And because both of them can fly, kind of. Heck, Ajah actually says that Qingyi once fell headfirst off a cliff and survived, which sounds familiar. Did we see that in Simulanka? I think we did. Now, Qingyi is known as some...
Well, I thought you were gonna say that Wanderer fell headfirst off his mech and survived. That's because he's a puppet, but you know. Like, Wanderer fell headfirst and survived, so he's fell headfirst off a cliff and survived, apparently.
Which sounds familiar. Did we see that in Simulanka? I think we did. Now, Qingyi is known as something called a Saurian hunter and is described as being a ruthless, cold-blooded killer, and he doesn't bother to refute these claims either, the same way Wanderer never pretends to be a good person in light of his bloody and problematic past. But I gotta admit, the Saurian hunter thing confused me, because if we're going into a nation where the relationship between Saurians and humans is treasured, then why is Qingyi hunting them? So not to change the subject, but do you guys remember what happened to Ajdaha? There was a time during Morax's rule that Ajdaha began to erode. His memories began to fade, and he grew more and more violent as he forgot all about the bonds that he forged with the people under Morax's rule. And he had to leech off of the ley lines within the chasm in order to prevent his deterioration. But that only delayed the inevitable. Eventually, he became so dangerous that Morax had to seal him away. And this got me thinking. The origami creatures of Simulanka's forest were losing their color because they lost access to their magic tonic, which is a multicolored ink. And the more their colors faded, the more their memories deteriorated, right? So in this Natlan speculation video that I made back when Simulanka wasn't even out yet, I suggested that the magic tonic was an allegory for elemental energy coming from the ley lines, since elemental energy and memories are interchangeable, and dragons are, by nature, elemental creatures. So elemental deterioration would coincide with a loss of memories or erosion, just like what happened with Ajdaha, and also with Apep after she ate Deshret and his forbidden knowledge, technically. I mean, the withering is a very similar looking phenomenon, both visually and allegorically. So what if this is happening to the Saurians too? What if the Saurians really are deteriorating and turning into those raging aberrants mentioned in Qingyi's introduction? Because he hunts those raging aberrants, and since his title is Saurian Hunter, then it's definitely possible that the raging aberrants are Saurians. And in a nation where the bond between human and Saurian is treasured, I can see why it would be frowned upon to hunt Saurians, even if they were dangerous and degraded. And this degradation probably has something to do with a loss of elemental energy, similar to the loss of magic tonic. But I don't think it's leyline related. So you might have noticed that there are only 6 types of Saurians, but 7 elements, and I suspect that the missing Saurian element is Pyro, because unless Janssen is Pyro, there's not a single playable Pyro character in the teaser besides the Archon herself. Isn't that a bit weird? Or maybe it isn't that weird.
Yeah.
Because, it is possible that all 6 Saurians are dual element, meaning they're all partly pyro, perhaps running on the residual flames of the Pyro Sovereign. Now, I don't have a ton of evidence for this. This is all just speculation. But the elements in Genshin are often likened to different colors of light. And of all the elements we have, only Pyro and Electro actually emit light. So I don't think it's unreasonable to assume that after their defeat, the light from the Pyro Sovereign's flames were split into 6 colors, and the tournament held every year is meant to keep those flames burning in the hopes that one day the Sovereign themselves will return. In other words, the Saurians are just the babies of the Pyro Sovereign, like Melazines, kind of. But this means that the son Mavuika wishes to resurrect is the Pyro Sovereign, and perhaps they, much like Lego Durin, had to be split into parts because they were too dangerous to live alongside humans in their initial form. And that's why Mavuika talks to those floating flames like they have a mind of their own. They probably do. Now, I think the holy relic equivalent that the champion can claim after they win the ball game is the Pyronosis, mostly because I believe my theory about the third descender being a star is accurate and the Gnosis is a fragment of their power. That aligns with the star lighting up at the end of the Squirrel and the Frog quest, too. The Gnosis has to acknowledge the champion, which might be why Mavuika taunts Capitano into competing in the tournament. He's a harbinger, and they want the Gnosis, which means he has to play the game to get it. But here's the thing. I think Capitano's played this game before. And I also think he might be a Natlin native, despite there being a lot of evidence for him being the blood-stained knight from Mondstadt. Although there is the possibility that he is both, because he could be a knight that's descended from Vanessa who migrated from Natlin, because that would be an interesting twist. But here's the thing. With the exception of Liyue, each region has introduced a Harbinger in their Archon quest that was from that region. Signora is both from and was introduced in Mondstadt. Scaramouche was introduced in and from Inazuma. Dottore was introduced in and from Sumeru.
Actually, he was actually introduced in, during the, 1.1 quests. Sorry.
Scaramouche was introduced in
I get it.
Inazuma. Dottore was introduced in and from Sumeru. And Arlecchino, okay, she's kind of a technicality because she's from Conria, but she grew up in Fontaine and she was introduced there, so there's a technicality. But still, it's still a decent pattern, and I don't think we should totally ignore it. And that's why I think there's a good chance that Capitano is from Natlin. I mean, even Mavuika seems to be familiar with him, like she knows something about his past. Like, maybe, just perchance, he once participated in a ball game and lost. In fact, I think
he got demolished. Got so embarrassed.
He once participated in a ball game and lost. In fact, I think it's very possible that Capitano might be one of the hero twins, specifically Hunahpu, Xabalanque's brother. Because think about this for a second. In the myth of the hero twins, Hunahpu and Xabalanque played a ball game against the gods of death and lost. They were then burned alive and accidentally resurrected through the waters of the underworld. But what if only one twin was resurrected this time? What if Xabalanque is still trapped in the fires of that oven, while Hunahpu was resurrected on the outside? Perhaps Hunahpu in that case felt so betrayed that he ended up joining the Fatui Harbingers and became Capitano. And maybe the reason he hesitates to play the game is because he's still bothered by what happened the last time. But he also needs to get the Gnosis, and maybe he's also trying to free his brother. Hypothetically, of course, this is still just a theory. Now, Capitano is also pictured alongside Auroron, which makes it seem likely that the two will team up together, but I don't think that alliance will last very long. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Auroron will eventually team up with Kachina, just like the bat and the flying squirrel in the Cherokee legend, betraying Capitano in the process, because if Capitano is Hunahpu, then, looking back at the myth, I can't help but notice how Hunahpu was intentionally decapitated by a bat after he and his brother lost one of the rounds to the gods of death. And what's even more interesting is that in the myth, Hunahpu was the twin that became the sun after their final victory, while Xabalanque became the moon. And Genshin loves playing with that false sun, or blackened sun, or even eclipsed sun symbolism, which would account for Capitano's all-blackened attire. He's a burned-out sun. And this actually changes my prediction for his constellation. I now think he's this hand symbol, because I'm 90% sure that this is the Hopi healing hand symbol. And you know who else is referencing the Hopi people? Kachina, the squirrel, the one that helps the sun cross the sky in the end. It's the most fitting constellation for him if he is Hunahpu, or at least from Natlin. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes my predictions for Natlin. For now, anyway.
For now.
Now, I've obviously left out a lot of thoughts, mostly in the interest of time, because there's not a lot of time left between now and the live stream. It's literally this week as of time of recording, and I just know that the live stream will make me want to change so much of this theory, so
2 days.
This is what I've got for right now. And before I forget, while I was researching Mahuika, I learned a few cool things, like how she was married to the god of comets, which might be the reason why there's a hypothesized impact crater in New Zealand named after her, although its existence hasn't been proven yet. What I found really funny about all of this is that all the Mesoamerican frog and sun references, especially Kinich, are from the Yucatan, which is where you can find the Chicxulub or the Devil's Flea crater. I hope I'm saying that right. But this is the crater that scientists hypothesize wiped out all non-avian dinosaurs. And what are dragons but Genshin's dinosaurs? And since Mahuika is an Archon, she's, at least on the surface, Celestia aligned, so being associated with a crater that wiped out dinosaurs is thematically on point, especially if they're flipping roles around, since her nation is the only one where dinos and humans live in harmony. In fact, part of me wonders if the Mare Javari is the impact crater, or like that's what the reference is supposed to be. But that's it. That's all I've got. That's all I'm going to share for right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a long one, and I know it's been kind of cooking in the oven for a while. There's just so much ground to cover and so many things to research, and I'm a little bit behind, honestly. But thanks again, and another thank you towards my scrumdiddlyumptious channel members who are responsible for supporting
What
all
did you
of my
just call them?
nonsense. You guys are absolutely amazing. Get it? Maize? Because corn? I'll see myself out.
Jesus. I'm sorry I didn't speak to like any of that. I was trying to concentrate. I'm still a bit tired as well. It was the heated story quest. Bro, I cannot wait for the live stream, bro. Oh my god, the live stream's gonna be so good. Oh my god, my brain's fucking fried, bro. I was trying to. It's still a little bit early than like from when I woke up. Jesus, man. All right, I'm gonna go to the toilet and cause Natland comes out in not Natland comes. Fuck, my brain's completely fried. ZZZ comes out in 7 minutes. So, Jesus, Natland. Oh God, I wish. But yeah. My brain is fried now. Holy shit. Alright, let's change to Zender Zone 0. Oh my god. Let me see if we got any. No, so then Jesus, man. What? Oh, what's the most confusing Ashikai video I've ever. Oh, I got the Pixel Watch 3. That's nice. My god. Let me see. Sorry, just trying to see something. Uh, 'Still being. Mhm. .3 minutes. 3 minutes. I'm gonna wait till after and then I'll log into it. Hmm. Oh, okay, we've got a minute. I'm gonna do this a bit later. Alright, let's go in. It's got a minute, but the time it loads, it'll probably be fine, alright? We'll be pulling for change. Why did it save? What the fuck? Alright, let's go in. Let's pull for Chig. Let's pull for Qingyi. Let's do it. Let's do it. God, finally she's out, bro. Finally she's out. We're doing the quest tomorrow. Might live stream and might not. Maybe. I don't know. Probably will. Probably will. Alright. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Alright, we're in. We're in the minute it came out. Nice. What the fuck? Okay. Hopefully I didn't leak anything. Alright, here we are. So we got our thing. We got our daily stuff. Let's see here. Ooh. Damn! She's so hot. Alright, so we got this. We got, this. Oh my god. I do not like the lipstick at all, but Jesus Christ, bro. The case of the missing bamboo. So we just look for a missing bamboo. So that's the quest. This is the her agent story. All right. Obsidian strategic power. An original 0. All right. Actually, let's try her out. Yeah. Start demo. All right. I mean, I'm gonna be putting for it no matter what. Bro, I should pull a freaking DPS, but who cares? I probably should have pulled you in. I mean, I did a little bit, but... Oh my god, bro. Oh! Okay. Oh yes, the bar. Yeah. Sorry. Dude, 50 hits! Oh my god! Holy damn. And you let go to do that, okay. Oh! Damn! I don't know 100% ball does a little bit more. Oh my god, bro. That's so cool.
Okay.
Yeah, Taurus.
Understood.
Was it easy? 200%. That is insane amount of damage to do. Oh!
Justice is served.
Oh my god, bro.
You walked right into this one.
Oh my god.
With pleasure.
Damn, she does the damage as well. Like, she does the damage. Oh my god. 280%. What in the hell? 280% damage increase. That is... 272. Oh, I get it now. So the amount of the bar you fill up in here after 75% is how much more damage you'll do when you break. So if it's maxed out completely, you do 280%, maybe even 300% more damage. Holy fuck. That is insane amount of damage. Oh my god, that's way better than freaking Lycon. Lycon got power creeped immediately. Oh my god. I mean, we all knew she was gonna be strong, but holy shit. What is this? Oh, okay. There we go, my first 100. Alright, see you, Bash. There's Corin on the banner, right? Freaking beautiful, man. Beautiful. I need Corin. I like Corin's what made DPS. Got a new Bang-Boo? Is this for her? The thing is, I don't have Zhuyan. This is if you have Zhuyan and Qingyi. Aru woof woof. God damn it. That's physical damage, which is very interesting. Very interesting. Alright, we got 52 left. We got 52 left. And we're guaranteed, so. Let's go! First mission today. Fine. Alright, give me Corrin and that'd be nice. Give me Corrin. So am I in for. Not Billy, but Corrin.
Excuse
Nice.
me? Is there something I can do for you?
Getting a
Anything
C6 would be
at all?
amazing. Got one more A. Which is fucking last. Oh, come on, bro. This one. That's good for the next. I feel like that's gonna be good for the next patch. For the new drip marketed characters, because that looks like it's for them. Alright, next one. Come on. Hey, that would be insane. No. I mean, I guess this might leave me a little bit late. I know I'm hoping, but oh my god, yeah, you know what? Fuck, it's giving me. But getting more Corrins would be huge. Alright. What thing is my Corrin now?
One. Don't look at me.
5. See ya 5. Bro, getting one more, bro. Give me one more, please, man. Bro, give me one more car and I'll be so happy. Alright.
I'm sorry.
Let's keep going. We still got 32 bitty left, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to late bitty. That's sad. That is sad. Ah, another late one. I'm just gonna skip. Ah, Billy, fuck off. I'm sorry. Fuck off. Fuck off. God damn it, man. Okay, here we are. Here's my Qingyi, baby. I swear, it doesn't make sense if you punch people. If you give me a Corrin as well, hey, that'd be huge.
Automaton Qingyi,
Boom!
eager to learn from your wisdom.
Oh, she is. Oh my god. Oh my. Damn, they don't do that for Zhu, yeah, but they do it for Qingyi. That's wow. They give you the angle for Qingyi, but not Zhu, yeah. They don't even do this shot for Zhu, yeah. They don't even get close. They do have to like here, man. God damn, man. God fucking god, she is so bad.
That's right.
Shut up, Billy. Bro, don't laugh at me like that. What the fuck? You know what? You know what? I am. I'm getting another card. I'm getting another card. Watch me. Watch me get another card. Watch me get another card. Watch me. Watch me. Fuck. Come on. Come on. I need one more. Alright. Bye. I don't care. We're getting Corrin. We're getting a C6 Corrin right here, right fucking now. Watch! Watch it! Watch it be Corrin. This is a guarantee. Watch it be Corrin, ready? Anyway, we got Qingyi! Oh, Billy. I hate how he's laughing at me, man.
Yes.
Starlight, it's time to
Oh, that
shine.
pisses me off. Is Billy naked in here? Sorry, what? I'm actually curious. Anyway.
I have 2 guns,
Yeah.
so double the accuracy.
Sure, Billy, sure. Sure. Anyway, here we are.
Let me finish my cup of hot water.
What? What did you just say? Cup of hot water. What? Would this be good for her? Qingyi, I don't judge. I definitely won't judge you. I would never judge you. Alright, let's go in. Clicking the wrong thing. Let's see what weapon. Let's see what 4-star weapon she could use. That 4-star weapon. Where the fuck is he? Damn! You only have 2 moves. Oh, what am I gonna do? Yeah, see, I'm probably gonna be. There's a chance I might pull for her, literally, because she's an anomaly. Hopefully she's a DPS type character. If she is, I'm 100% pulling. One reason, oh my god. 2, I need a DPS so bad. Wait, you still haven't put anything. Oh my god. Okay, well, they're slacking. It looks like it. Damn. They're slacking, bro. What the fuck? I'm just gonna put this on here. I'm not gonna level anything up because I'm just not. Because I need to know what she needs. Alright. Well. Increases impact. She's just a better Ambi, isn't she? Just put that on her. I forgot what the difference is between this shit. Yeah, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I need to definitely do stuff.
A new case to solve?
What are angles? Wait, what? So yeah. Whoa, okay, that's cool. She changes, like... So from here to here, she does that. But from here to here, she does that. Right, how much can we level her up? Not much, I presume. Alright, we're doing this, baby. We're doing this. Auto mode. In auto mode, chain attacks will automatically trigger upon a basic attack. Dodge character into. Let's try this. Alright. Let's see how this goes. Let's see what this auto mode is. So it automates the process a little bit. So it's like half Starro, half Genshin at this point. Okay. Let's see what this is. Let's see what this is.
Amateurs. Please.
Great hit!
Oh, you can cancel it immediately like that. I should have done that.
Okay.
That was a mistake. It was just taking it out. Yeah, look at like these shows is 35%, bro. Oh, I didn't realize it was still fucking broken. I am not paying attention at all.
Amateurs.
Solid hit!
I don't know what this auto mode is.
Let me see this up!
Oh, if I had Qingyi. See? If I had Qingyi, it would be dead. Because you would have with that.
Clear out. Oh wait.
Yeah, I don't know what this auto mode is. What if I just leave it?
Please.
I have no idea what the auto mode is.
Leave everything to me.
Stay calm now.
Wait, what?
In position.
This is so scuffed, I kind of love what this goddamn auto mode is. I have no idea.
Great hit!
Literally nothing of this auto.
You've done well, Cole.
Solid hit! Let me see this up!
Oh, we don't even need ult. We don't even need ult. I was gonna ult it, but this so much damage. Okay. What does that button do? Oh yeah, you could change times when you want, right? Or is that 1.2? Oh, that's 1.2, is it? Fuck. Yeah, it's 1.2. Sad.
Handmade Rena at... Let me finish my cup of hot water.
Fuck. Yeah, we need to definitely level her up a bit. But I need to know, like, what domain to farm for her and everything as well. Like, what, like, relics to get before I do the thing at the friggin' shop. I didn't do too much. Great. Let's do it again. Alright, let's do it again.
Solid hit! Let me see this up!
In position. Amateurs.
I didn't even press space there.
You've done well, Cole. Time to... Quick quickly now.
Great hit! I'll take off! Solid hit! Let me finish that!
That was so much quicker when I actually got the rotation. Alright. This should be enough to get her to 40. That's nice.
Head-made Rena, a new case to solve?
Okay, we've got 2 wishes here, which is nice. Oh no. Oh no. Ah, this is not gonna be fun. Alright, we'll definitely use Becca.
Let me finish my cup of hot water.
Alright, let's keep going. Alright. Be nice to get it early. Oh, they changed the logo to this. They changed it to be more basic on this one. Huh. Huh, interesting. Alright, let's go here. Alright, so yeah, so we need to get some lot of shit. Oh, nice. Oh, it's your, So I've already done this one before.
A hot cup of coffee isn't just for the early birds. It can also be for the night owls.
Probably not good for them.
Sometimes, stopping to take a break can help you go further.
Yeah, I need to figure out which relics to get as well, but I need to wait for Pride of them to do their stuff.
Head-made Rena, at your service. One, a new case to solve.
Alright. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be dumping a lot of fuel for her, to be honest, so... I want to get my Qingyi good. I want to get my Qingyi really good. So my team is probably going to be Corin, Qingyi, and then Rena. Rena for the sake of having the Victoria housekeeping and 2 electric.
Say no more. Leave the rest to me.
Oh my god. Well, there we go. Try to upgrade. What's that? I should click that. Maybe that takes you straight to your characters. Maybe.
Headmaid Rena, at your service. Let me finish my cup of hot water.
Jeez. Oh my god, I'm out of money as well. Oh my god. This is not.
A new case to solve?
Okay. I think I'm gonna end stream here. If you did enjoy, make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe to your channel. If you haven't, I do have a video coming out today, which is doing March 7th's companion mission, Star Rail. So yeah, make sure you watch that. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and I guess I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye. Qingyi is so cool. And yeah, bye.